Leaving his companions to deal with the remaining orcs, Norman follows Reckless Abandon in his pursuit of the mage. They pace through freezing stone halls lined with stone golems, patient sentinels from a long dormant kingdom. The mage's footsteps ring heavily on the smooth stone, and the chase takes them onto an exposed stone staircase. The mage turns. "Now, no further. You will not spoil my efforts." Bandon leaps forward, cutting through the mage, whose cloak tears and blows away in the wind. His body absent. "What trick is this?" Norman begins to cry out, but it is too late, as Reckless is struck heavily with a twisted glaive from behind, as the mysterious mage reappears between them in his true form, a monstrous Oni. Welcome to Challenge Raiders. It's the D&D show where we talk about a D&D monster while I draw it. My name's Theo.
My name's Neil, and I am in shock.
And I'm Sam, and I'm probably not an Oni that's changed shape.
No, not at all. No Onis here.
Nope.
Oni's it's actually one of my... When I first got the Monster Manual, back in, I think, 2016, something like that, for 5th, it was one of the ones that really stood out to me as being kind of cool. And that hasn't changed, but after, reading it more carefully, there's things that I've been like, well, this is odd. And, the longer you think about it, it's like, oh, well, there's a few things, because... Where to begin? Well, I guess...
The Oni is, it's one of, the big... original gangsters of D&D. It's from back in the first supplement, I think.
Yeah, because
Greyhawk or something. It's really old. It used to be called the Ogre Mage. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, that makes sense.
And it makes reference to it in the 5th edition book that they're sometimes called Ogre Mages. I guess that's
right.
A throwback to,
that's cool.
The 70s when it was first out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
because of course Oni is it's mythology, in real life mythology, it's a Japanese ogre. So it means ogre. And from what I understand of Japanese mythology, which is not a lot, they're more like demons than ogres as we might understand, where they're just sort of monsters.
I think Onis are kind of like a spirit that take an ogre form.
Yeah.
More so rather than being an actual physical being. But
yeah, they're not just big strong guys like ogres tend to be in Western mythology things. But again, the Oni in D&D doesn't take a whole lot from from its namesake.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, I think I was trying to figure out when I should mention this. I think I'll mention it now just to get it out of the way.
Sure.
Because in D&D loves to have a thing and then several versions of a thing, subcategories of a thing. And it's weird to me that there is the Oni, but there isn't a red and a blue Oni, because that is a different color Onis is a big thing in real mythology.
Oh, right.
So I'm that was a missed opportunity. And there's no reason you couldn't have a little customized one for yourself that is a different colour.
You could use the hags.
Definitely.
I think an Oni and a hag who are a married couple could be hilarious.
That'd be very fun.
They'll be true boomers and hate each other.
Exactly. We should probably say exactly what the actual Oni is. He is a spellcaster, shape-changing trickster who is also a muscle man. So it's...
But yeah, they have the similar thing to I think the green hag had the shape-changing thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has the same thing. Where it'll change into a small or medium humanoid, or into its large giant mode. And its stats are the same, but it looks like a human, essentially, or whatever. So it's for tricking people and walking around in society like it's people, despite it being Oni.
I like the fact that it can polymorph into a small or medium humanoid, so you can have a halfling that turns itself into an Oni.
Well, this is
so if you ever see a halfling with a glaive, watch out.
There's some more things that I find a little cool and confusing, like its movement speed.
It can fly.
Oh god, I didn't even notice that.
It can fly.
It can just fly around at the same speed that it runs.
Real quick, would you count weight as a stat? I know it's not in its stat block for any of these things. Would you have it turn into a small thing but still be very heavy?
No.
No?
I would.
I think I would, because I think it could be interesting. I don't think the rules want you to do that.
Because it says it polymorphs. It isn't
that is a fair point.
It isn't disguising itself, which I think the hag does.
I just like the idea, though, of it being the small halfling and the guy tries to push her and he doesn't move.
Then it's giving it away.
But Sam, that's the cool thing where the player figures it out.
Well, it's like how with mimics, from what it says of the ability of the fact that it's indistinguishable from being an inanimate object. It's like, yeah, that makes sense, but also like that means you're not really supposed to reward like clever thinking or like investigation. Anyway, that's just a side point, which is just like, oh well, you know, and I personally would have it so like, you know, it maybe their footsteps seem a lot heavier in a smaller form than you'd expect from something that is normal size. Anyway,
it could be very horror-y, you know, like you see the silhouette of a small halfling.
Sure,
and the thudding, and you could.
Well, yeah, you could have like you're in like in a tavern. Everyone's saying, and you hear like the footsteps upstairs creaking, like, and then like, oh god, what's going on? And then like a halfling steps around the stairs, like, okay, this is fine. It's still a bit ominous though. And then turns out later on there was an Oni doing some scoping out.
I love the nursery rhyme that they have.
Oh yeah. One of these little notes. Not a lot of those.
Lock the door, blow out the light. The hungry Oni haunts the night. Hide and tremble, little one. The Oni wants to have some fun. Hear it scratching on the door. See its shadow across the floor. The sun won't rise for quite a while. Till then, beware the Oni smile.
That's cool. I like that a lot, and it really like is very. It shows what they want you to be using them for. They're not. This isn't something that you just have when you want to have a big, strong guy who's got some spells as well.
It definitely leans itself towards the kind of horror vibes quite well. I think that kind of stuff. I like the idea of, in the moment it's about to appear, it's saying like the nursery rhyme, but it's invisible.
That could be fun.
I think that'd be a cool DM moment or something like that. That can be really fun. But I don't know if we want to get into the stats, but I agree with that completely. Like it's challenge rating 7, and like the way its stats like look, it's definitely something that you want to have in a room, and it fights the party. Like it'll be a kind of creature that is fighting and trying to use sneak attack and like that kind of stuff, and like coming in, like hitting people, going back, because it can cast being invisible will.
Oh yeah.
It's only got like 110 hit points, you know. As challenge rating 7, a 7th level party will kill it in like 2 rounds. Or a round.
It does regen.
It does regen, but that's why I think you should have it like come in and hit, and then like
when it
gets hit, it goes out. Like you could have it if it's in like a dungeon. You could have it like pop into each room during like a fight, do some hits, get to like half health, run away again, and then obviously it'll be fully regenerated by like the next time the party meet it, which could be quite cool.
Because 10 hit points per turn at the start of the turn, it's good.
It's something, but
that's not loads. So yeah, you have as a DM, you'd have to be quite clever with that, and I think it could be really, really cool.
I just thought of something I would do. I would give the Oni's glaive away as loot at one point to like a fighter or something, and then when the Oni runs away around a corner, have it turn into the fighter still wielding its own glaive, and then you could have the legitimate who's the real person.
Who's the real one? Yeah, that could be very cool. About its stats, just very quickly, it doesn't really have anything super high, like of its actual like attributes, as it were. It's like 19 strength strong, is a lot,
but yeah.
But for a large creature of challenge rating 7, 19's not like that high. It's big, but it's not crazy.
It's not super imposing for what challenge rating it is. I don't think.
Yeah.
But that's if you just look at it as a stat block. You look at its spells, and I think it can cast sleep. It can then cast. It could put darkness around someone. Like it can isolate a party member.
Yeah, that could be very cool.
Its glaive means it can hit and not commit to like reaction, like attacks opportunity.
That's true. Yeah, there's not a huge amount of stuff with the reach like that.
Or it could just blast the party with a cone of cold, and then like
cone of cold's a big damage. Yeah.
And then like weaken them, and then go in with like some melee attacks. But I don't think if it's running in to try and hit, it's not really gonna.
Well, and as you were saying, like hit and run tactics, gaseous form as well. So it's gonna be, it's a very like skirmishy monster.
You think it's surrounded, then it turns into gas and goes through like a crack in a window.
Yeah, and then you've got to go through the rest of the dungeon or whatever, fighting some more guys.
Or under a door.
Ideally with an Oni, you should really never know it's an Oni properly until it's revealed, its true form is revealed.
Yeah.
You can have the nursery rhymes and stuff like that early on. And I think that's actually an important thing to say, is that in real life lore, nursery rhymes are all about those things that you should be scared of.
Yes.
Yeah, bugbears, Onis, boogeymen, all this sort of stuff, yeah.
I mean, so I think nursery rhymes are a great way of maybe if you're trying to have a small town environment, that could be a great scene of like the different nursery rhymes that the characters would know, being how they know the lore about creatures.
I was thinking earlier, actually, I had cause to look up a monster that we'll do at some point, I'm sure, the Sahajin, and how they're also known as sea devils. So you could have, if you have like a salty old sailor character talking about just cursing sea devils as like a general thing, world building referring to monsters as a thing that people know about. The issue there is you want to make sure that you do it without really heavy hitting. There's going to be one of these soon.
Yeah,
like this is next. But if you can slip that in, when people remember that later, that'll be like a really awesome bit for them and for everyone to like go, oh, that's that. This is what's happening in the story or in the rhyme or whatever. So that could be very cool.
I think Neil made a really good point just then as well, and just from like how you want to like try and present like an Oni into your game. Like,
yeah,
I'm not like an expert in horror because I get really scared really easy. But a big part of it
sounds like you are. Sounds like you're the ideal horror guy.
It's true. Especially like in D&D as well, is like teasing that kind of like, you know, it's not just showing it straight away. Like it becomes, you only become infinitely less scary once it's like a token. Like on the middle
once it's an HP bar and a token on
but everything about it, you can really build up to it, or you know, kind of like tease bits of it around. I think there's definitely loads of like avenues there for this monster.
Yeah, I'm gonna say some of these things, like a low-level party, say for instance level 1, 2, 3, to even maybe 4. There's some things that an Oni can do that they will be unable to stop. For instance, it can be a literal cloud of moving darkness by casting darkness every round as it moves.
Yeah.
It could literally be a wall of walking darkness which no character can see through, and they won't have daylight and anything, so they can't stop him. There are crazy things like that you could get across with it. Like I'm thinking now, because of what we've talked about the Oni as, this creature's kind of like an it.
Yeah.
In my head, I've got, especially if you introduce it to a low level party, it'd really make them feel like teenagers in like a slasher film, where like they are just powerless to it. Really, like I think that's really cool. But obviously, you need that if you're gonna do that to a party. Probably don't do it to a new party.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Because I think
like casting sleep on a bunch of level 1s.
This is a monster that I wouldn't want to use at a higher level because it would be too easy to kill. But also, in that case, you got to think about its motivations quite hard, because if it is motivated like by logical, like this party, I should kill them because they are gonna be an issue. That's too. That will result in you just killing the party with it. So, in its like little description, it has like how it like steals people to eat them, and it like delights in.
It likes babies.
Yeah, exactly. It's a horrible fairy tale monster essentially, and thus it doesn't have to act in a way that is like logical from like a martial. I have the opportunity to kill this party. I should do that. It will delight in haunting essentially a lower level party, and I think introducing one of these like way before a party could deal with it could be very, very interesting, especially if it just maybe it can kill some NPCs who are like friends with the party, and that would be horrific, but it could be quite interesting.
I completely agree. I think that what could be very strong is if your party grew up together. If they had a friend whose story ends like this.
Yeah.
As you're making the campaign and you're talking through your players' backstories, you tell them the story of this event. And you go through describing the terrible things. And it could be part of many events, you know, like also seeing goblins in the woods. And, you know, stuff like this. But this was this one creepy thing. So then when they're playing through and they get to like, I don't know, 3rd level or something, and they start seeing all these spooky signs again, they're like, I remember. Oh no!
Yeah, because like they see the polymorphed figure, as it were. Some guy standing outside with a weird.
They see it with the balloons.
It's like, I think that could be very, very, very good and very cool.
I think
again, I hadn't thought about the Oni for ages actually, and I'm now remembering why I liked it so much when I first looked at it and read it. It's like, this is actually very, very cool.
I just wanted to clarify, when I said new party, I didn't mean like a low level party. I meant like new players.
Oh yeah, right. I get you.
I think what you're saying is great. I just think that
a brand new party might suicide themselves, throwing themselves.
They might suicide
themselves
throwing into it. Also, it's one of those things where like this is going to be a kind of situation where the party has things outside of their control. So you need to.
It might be frustrating.
For certain people, that'd be exceptionally. Some people will love it. Some people will be frustrating. Yeah. So if you know them and you've done it with the people for a while, they'd find this really fun. That's great. Yeah. But some people, that might not be what they want. They might want to just go around and have big swashbuckling fights and adventures. That's what I meant more so than that.
I think particularly for those people, having a low-level encounter with an Oni that kicks their ass and revels in their defeat could act as a great inspiration for them wanting to go get that ass.
That's true. It could be a good eye-opening thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like maybe if you've run for a little while.
This is why I like him showing up early and then showing up at a level appropriate time for them to kill him.
Yeah, that could be cool. So
that then he is like he's unstoppable, but then they surpass him, and that's the hit part of their hero's journey.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, speaking of which, just to say about this topic,
sure,
we're talking a lot about how we would use an Oni in this horror setting.
Yeah,
but in our story, we're using the Oni in a very different way.
This Oni's he's using his polymorphing to get himself into a position of power so that he'll be able to manipulate people essentially. Kind of like a doppelganger more than the fairy tale guy, I suppose, in a way.
Well, it's still the worm tongue character. With its charisma and other kind of scores like that, I think that really comes across as a figure that is maybe just revels in malice.
Yeah. And is corrupting something, convincing people to do things that they shouldn't do, maybe, or because it has charm person in there as well as a daily thing.
I think the hag comparison is good with.
I think it's a very apt comparison, but they still, while you could use them similarly and to great effect bothly, I think they are very different. They feel very different, which is really good because it's like the setup might sound the same, but I think when you actually played it out, they'd be two very distinct and very interesting in their own way things. So that's cool.
Totally.
Nice.
Yeah, agreed.
So why does it wear chainmail?
Why does it wear chainmail?
Why is its AC 16? Because it's wearing a suit of chainmail? Just, 16 AC, like what chainmail gives you? What?
Why is it wearing chainmail?
It also comes under certain other issues when it changes shape. It only says that the only equipment that is transformed size-wise is the glaive. So if it was to shrink down to normal size, it'd be in a comically oversized suit of armor, like a little baby man.
Why has it got chainmail? The picture in the book is of a shirtless man wearing ragged trousers and a Red Riding Hood cloak, and he's not got a glaive and he's not wearing chainmail. I don't know, what's going on?
I don't know why. I mean. The super easy hotfix is just give him natural armor of 16.
Yeah, natural armor. That's what I would do.
Or give him an at-will spell mage armor or something.
Yeah, mage armor, a spell that exists. It's very odd.
The only other thing, just if we're going to be on the nitpicking thing, I find it weird that this is a stalking creature that can go invisible and it doesn't have a skill increase in stealth, but it has one in perception.
Yeah, it's true actually.
Which I would just swap that round.
I guess maybe that's because it relies on being invisible, so you'll still hear it stamping around, and that could be quite interesting. But yeah, I agree. It should have stealth trained because it's got plus nothing to Dex, and it doesn't have stealth as a skill, so it'll just have a flat D20 roll on stealth. That's really peculiar.
I find that odd. I know it is a big giant and stuff, but it's meant to especially when it's in change a humanoid form.
That's the point of it. It's the sneaky giant.
Yeah, it's meant to be a sneaky giant, and it's not very sneaky.
I guess that's it's quite odd. you'd put it in assuming it did, and when you'd roll stealth, you'd like roll the d20, and then you'd look at what its stealth is, and you'd be like, oh, where is it? Oh, I guess it, nothing. Okay, cool.
A couple of little odd bits there. I mean, the armor's the main one, really. I don't.
The armor's just weird. Going quickly back to Japanese mythology thing, Onis are very famous for their big clubs.
Yes, they are. Like, they're clubs, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, like they have these massive, like long wooden clubs with like knobbles on them. It's like
you could definitely give it a club if you want. It's like a great club instead.
So it just feels odd that they're like, let's give it a glaive. It's like, okay, it's not an issue. It's just like this was an opportunity to give it a big club.
I guess that maybe is a conscious effort to try and differentiate it a little bit.
At this point, I think it might be that. Yeah.
I think choosing a glaive still says Eastern though.
So what you're saying is it's inspired, not a direct rip.
Legally distinct.
Legally distinct Oni. Please do not sue Japan.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to say a couple of things about spells, because we did touch on them.
Yeah,
its DC is 13, which for Change Rating 7 is it's alright.
It's quite low.
It feels low, but I don't know if it actually would be.
Its spells are quite nasty as well.
That's the thing. Yeah. I'm going to say its DC is quite low, but the only spells that it's actually going to have you roll for is Charm, Person, and Cone of Cold.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter too much.
Those are nasty spells.
And that's the thing that I'm also putting on. It's Challenge Rating 7, and it knows Cone of Cold, which is a 5th level spell.
Yep.
Because Cone of Cold is huge as well, as far as I remember. Like, isn't it like a 20-foot cone or something?
Yeah.
It would be quite an entrance.
Well, it's his big move, because of after he does the Cone of Cold, he's got nothing left spell-wise to damage anyone with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All he can try to do is maybe convince a guy with charm,
put a person to sleep, and then run away.
Like everything else is all about escape, like invisibility and darkness and gaseous form.
Yeah, and looking at its weapon attacks, they're really quite feeble.
Yeah, that's
they're not good.
It's not imposing as a creature to stand there and fight you in like a one-on-one fair fight kind of thing. It's
2d10 plus 4, like on its glaive, and it can do that twice.
So that hurts.
It hurts, but it's not.
Plus 7.
Not
loads. I mean, it's on a fighter. It needs to roll 13.
More or less, yeah.
It'll kill the wizard to death.
And that's what it probably will do. It'll decloak behind the wizard, kill him, and then disappear again.
Yeah. Cast darkness, no one knows what's going on in there, and then you just hear a scream, and then it disappears, and then there's a guy on the floor.
Predator.
I think it's a very good monster for killing NPCs. Like in cool set pieces.
It's not strictly written into its official kind of like lore and what it is, but I feel that an Oni is a really great evil wizard on the villain team.
Yeah.
Like even if he's like not directly in the hierarchy, like having the big bad, evil prince having an Oni in his employ is like
he's charismatic and he's strong, but he's not very strong. So he makes a great second fiddle to the big bad. I think. Or again, like a really good, quite simple, like relatively low level, like campaign boss. Yeah, I think it could be really cool. Like if you were maybe like 5th level or something, like 1st to 5th or whatever, and he was the final boss of it. That could be quite cool.
Completely agree.
As we were saying, he's quite good at killing NPCs. He could be like an assassin for the big bad.
That's quite good. Yeah. You know what? That could be interesting. And again, it's something that works really well in any kind of setting, because this could be in like a city setting kind of thing, no problem. Because again, it has that polymorph; it can walk around and blend in real well. But also, it like coming out of the woods or a cave or no one knows where it comes out of. There's just at night
they all float down here.
Especially dark nights, the moon gets clouded over by darkness, and then it appears. And like, ooh.
Every 10 years, the Oni terrorizes the village.
Yeah, like I think it's very flexible and very cool.
I agree.
I do have a question as well, though.
Okay,
about how you would, because they're charismatic.
Yeah.
How would you role play the Oni?
That's really hard.
Because there's the two ways. There's the comedy. Not comedy aspect, but sinister comedy aspect of I'm gonna eat your toes kind of like villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also the the I am just a monster.
Yeah.
Because he is an Oni after all.
What the charisma is obviously there because he's got the +8 to deception. So in my mind, that's there for when he is a person and he can go, I swear I'm not an Oni, mate, and then he rolls like 28 on his deception roll, and everyone's like, this guy's legit, let him into the orphanage kind of thing. But I think more so when he's in like monster form, I am kind of seeing him more as a monster that's like pursuing what it wants.
His matted hair in front of his face, like in the drawing.
I think the easiest.
I wouldn't want him like cracking wise while he's like fighting us. Really?
Not necessarily.
I mean, it can do that. I know, like with the hag and that, but
hag does that.
The hag does that. The Oni I feel is, I know hags are disgusting and awful as well, but
I think the Oni taunts from a position of safety, whereas, and when it gets into the fight, it probably is trying to get out of the fight, as we say. I think like the easiest way to do it would be to have it as a silent stalking thing, and that is the cop out. Like, I don't have to work too hard, but that wouldn't necessarily be bad. If you're not confident in doing a scary voice, it might be better to make it a silent thing. At least when it's in its monster mode.
Yeah. Only talks or polymorphed. I've had this scene before in D&D, which I love, which is the polymorphed creature has been rumbled, but has not changed its form yet.
Right.
So it's the little girl halfling that we're talking about. Yeah. They rumble her, and then her expression changes. Yeah. And she's acting now like she's in the position of strength here. As the little girl. Like, they all rumbled her on top of her. She's then talking back at them like now she holds all the power, all the cards. And then when they transform, this thing never talks. It's the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Or, when it's in its Oni mode, it talks to you in the voices of people that you know, that maybe it's been taking the forms on. And it's like, oh, hey, remember me? Like, this is, and it's coming out of this horrible monster. That could be quite interesting.
Or maybe it only uses its words as weapons. So it would, for instance, the scenario we talked about with maybe a childhood friend going missing, it just talks about him, like at the end when he's going away. It's anything to try and distract you to help get away.
Yeah.
I think we're hurtling towards giving this thing a number. And I think it's going to be quite high.
I think it's a good number. I'm feeling a good number. A good, strong number for this.
I'm trying to think if there's things that, like, let it down about the stat block. And, like, it is weird that stealth's not on there. While I think it could be cool to have it, like, not actually be stealthy but always invisible so it is still hard to track down, I would like to have the option already there for it to have, like, a stealth, like, plus. Obviously, it's really easy to put in, like, super easy, but also it's like, it's just weird that it's not there.
I think the only thing, I don't know, I mean, it is really good at escaping, but if you're fighting at level specific and the party like do like something that like restrains it, or like it will just die in one turn, which is a little bit.
Yeah, if you use it without,
if you use it poorly and you just chuck it in and like it's the main target and there's like 4 or 5 player characters, like they will zap it.
What it will be in that is it'll be Cone of Cold for one turn.
Yeah.
The party will lose some health, and then it will die within a turn or two.
But that is more so a DMing issue, I think, rather than the monster itself. But it's something to think about, I guess. Yeah.
I feel that the Oni is smart and manipulative enough that he would show up with magic items.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that it's not out
a trinket that he's taken from someone he's eaten,
or just something that helps him do his job.
Yeah.
He reaches behind into his horrible, like, raggedy clothes and pulls out gems and gold. Like,
exactly. I think an Oni is kind of ageless.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that he probably has existed for a while, and I think unlike a lot of these other things, he is kind of a guy.
Kind of.
Like, he's not like, he's like an evil spirit.
They don't have great ambition is the thing. They just...
As long as they're full and they have like a nice place to live, they're all right, basically.
But yeah, what I was trying to say is that giving him maybe a couple of magic items that could help him fill some of these niche problems, that could be quite a good way, like prizes or something.
Sure, trophies.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, because of, again, he's almost there for being this boss.
Well, again, he's got armor and he's got a weapon. You could very easily give him some interesting magic armor and interesting magic weapon that are A, interesting for him to use as a boss, and B, good loot to take.
Yeah, you could do side grade stuff. I love the that dark elf style armor where it's better during the night than it is during the day.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and I just feel that he has the problem of Arkham Asylum, where the Joker is a big muscle man at the end of the fight.
I'm trying to think now if there's any obvious minions it could have, but nothing's coming to mind.
I don't think
I'm
it would
sure
have.
A flying sword.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't. It doesn't strike me as something that would have minions itself. It'd be working alongside the minions of a person above him.
Yeah. I guess if it was part of an organisation, it could have a couple of things to chuck at you, but
Rivalry with a doppelganger.
That could be quite funny, yeah.
Should we give it a number?
My gut feeling is 15, but I kind of want to give it higher personally. But I think 15.
My gut was 16, but I'm happy to go 15.
I'm 15.
15.
I think 15 is good. I think that's upper percentile.
15's fair, I think.
I think 15 is good.
I think an Oni will carry an adventure, but that's it.
Yeah. And I don't think it's not suited to grand overarching plots, and because you could use it for that, but I don't think it would.
It has a place
really
in most campaigns, though. I think
definitely.
I think to bring up our mini story, our Oni is a manipulator here, causing some ruckus.
Yeah.
And potentially, as he's alluded to, he has some scheme that maybe we don't even or will ever fully understand.
Yeah.
He is ideal for the video game equivalent of a really good side quest.
That really sounds right. He would be. I'm thinking of all the side quests and
a side quest is really developed and
a guy
is worth an hour of your time, not a procedural generated one.
Jim is having nightmares in Moorcath.
Or track down the guy who everyone thinks a bit weird. Turns out he's an Oni. Okay, do you guys want to see the Oni I did?
Yes,
the Oni I did
desperately.
The Dutch Oni. Again, I said this before to you guys, but I've had to resort to some extreme angles to get things on this wide canvas.
Oh, yeah.
No, I did just draw a Japanese Oni face because
I love it.
And I don't necessarily know that's what I would do if I were to put an Oni in a campaign. I actually do really like the book design Oni, where he's just a kind of psycho guy.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something that was a bit more mythological. Also, he's got chainmail. I didn't want to try.
Yeah.
I could not figure out how to give an Oni a suit of chainmail and not have it look real. I mean, this looks stupid, but in a fun way. Whereas
I love the style.
Yeah.
Here we see Reckless Aban has been mortally wounded and being...
The guy I like!
Exactly, and Norman is teetering back. If I ever put an Oni in a thing, I'll draw another Oni token and I'll post that on my Instagram or my Tumblr or Twitter, or all three of them. So follow me there. I'm plugging that as well, apparently, now.
Nice. That 50th minute plug where this episode's gone on for.
Hey.
Should we do that awkward bit at the end of an episode?
We'll make some great Oni jokes.
Hang on a minute, guys. I think we should take a minute of silence for Reckless.
Oh.
It's true.
And then we go on.
Shh.
Oh, Reckless Oni-chan.
Okay.
Okay.
Awful.
He does no more.
Yeah.
The Oni. You got any Oni jokes? You got any Oni jokes here?
The only way is to subscribe.
Yeah, I guess so. I've got a very bad joke that could work for pretty much any monster, so I don't know if I should burn it on this one. But it's really bad, so maybe I should just get rid of it. The Oni's got Common and Giant as its languages, but we only speak Common in the comments below. Why don't you write something in there, in that?
Flawless.
I guess if you speak Giant, you can write that in the comments. That'd be quite interesting.
Yeah.
If you speak Norwegian.
Hey, Giant is its own... I remember I got the glossary out of the Giant words the other for Stone Golem.
That's true.
And we were all very excited to hear me go through it.
Yeah, we tried to find the word for subscribe.
Yeah, but there turns out there wasn't one.
Smash that like button for
beep. No, we're not having beep at the end of the episode.
Veto.
I guess so what about smash like button for gaseous form? What about that? Is that better?
It means nothing.
What? If you like gaseous forms, you'd like to hit that like button, you know.
Cone of like.
Nice.
Like of cold.
Like of cold.
Alright, I've had enough of this.